Honorable Pacho, Yamwakwa Babio.
I'm sure that your producers have told you that
Oh,
so you have to
no problem.
indulge me.
Let's move on. Yesterday in Parliament, your colleague, Honorable Kwaku Kwatin, charged yourself, the honorable members of Parliament, that you should not only be approving and supporting government initiatives, but you must lead by example. What is your take on that before we move to the other issues?
I absolutely agree with him on that score that there's a need for us as people's representatives to reflect the wishes and aspirations of the people that we represent. Sometimes there is that notion among the public that there seem to be some collaboration between the legislature and the executive to take decisions that are only to their benefit and exclude the majority of our people. And that is why on this budget debate, my other colleague, Honorable Samuel Abujinapo, yesterday also made the call for us to put the partisanship aside and look at the real, concerns of the people that we represent. And I'm sure you recall that he specifically even mentioned some constituencies, especially in the strongholds of the NPP, and how their constituents currently feel, given the harsh, economic conditions that we all are, subjected to today. And so it is a good call that we must reflect the wishes of our society. And we, by doing so, will be putting ourselves in the shoes of the people that we represent. Generally speaking, I think that I agree with what some of the issues that Prof raised earlier about the need for us to watch our expenditure as a government, because there's no end in sight. No matter how much revenue you accrue or raise as a government, if you are not able to curtail your appetite, your consumption. So if you are, maybe to put it in a very basic way, if you are gluttonous, if you love food so much, it will not matter the size of the pot that your wife puts, on the stove to cook. It will never be enough for you. The food that will be served will never be enough for you. And I think that is the situation that we are faced with. And it has gotten worse, under this government, because it came into power with a lot of goodwill. I mean, they boast about having won an election with an unprecedented 1 million votes, even though that is contestable. But granted that it is correct, it shows the goodwill with which they came into power. There's overall support that they enjoyed from majority up to right into power, based on the promises to ensure that public property, public funds were going to be protected and put to good use for the benefit of all. And so it is quite sad that even though they criticize the previous government of wasteful expenditure and all of that, that previous government was able to hand over to them, some buffers, such as money in the stabilization fund, which came to their aid during COVID, when they had to borrow from the stabilization fund $250 million US dollars to support 250 million Ghana cedis to support, the budget. The previous government, despite all the challenges and despite all the accusations of wastage, never had to borrow from the central bank. Now, this government have had to borrow from the central bank about 20 billion Ghana cedis. Again, despite all the accusation of wastage by the previous government, it was able to manage the country with revenues from just one oil well. That gave the government about 4 billion Ghana cedis. By the time that they came into power, they were handed over 2 additional oil wells, making it 3, which has given them over 20 billion, Ghana cedis. So you compare the one who was managing, our appetite as Ghanaians, our wishes as Ghanaians with 4 billion to one getting 20 billion, borrowing 20 billion again from the central bank. and the unprecedented, borrowing that they have done through the, Eurobond and other, financial arrangements. You add all of that, and you cannot understand why, under such difficult circumstances in the previous government, they were able to again hand over infrastructure development that had the capacity to pay for itself, such as the Ghana Gas, such as the Terminal 3, raising more revenue, such as the expansion of the port. And you wonder why, haven't gotten all of these handed over to them. 4 years, 5 years down the lane, we are being told that we have chopped everything as a country, and yet we don't have the same level of, investment that we had in the past that were generating income. We have not seen any, significant expansion in our ports or revolution in our ports that is increasing revenue. We have not seen another Terminal 3. We have not seen the kind of hospitals like the Rich Hospital, like the University of Ghana Medical Center, and other such hospitals that are all raising revenue, mindful for government. We haven't seen all of that. So it tells you that, yes.
Yes. Enra, on the floor of Parliament, there was a very hot debate. I was there myself with Midana Yabuamane, Bright. Now, at the point, a colleague from the majority side, Honorable Kwakukwatin, and Yawa Kenyano was saying, sir, maybe or mine, I don't know. Yanshana Yanji budget into na Bibian Kunan more line is unti Mami Manakwaba na Mimisana Samka Caribbean near Tosso. Honorable Kwatin Pacho, good morning. Honorable, good morning.
Good morning.
Yes. Unia member of parliament or Tamalinov, Alhassan Suhuyini, our line is untino, Yedin Komono Abum. Honorable, Yedin Kaka Sem Nibidia, na Wabe Mimisa Okakra. In summary, Adian Kawa. Utinam Rasabajum speak at the hall, Unianum majority minority in Atiho, Yebobo Hona, O Canada den say Yasia Hotrabana Zikasema ya Yam Rasabaja for so mon share senia more expenditure city, then a cow casa.
The moment cancer and Ghana, the Tracy Free President Kofoa Penso. What chances ya at da Sika spendi any Sika Yinya Yana Yakasi, NPP, NDC, Yana Yakasi. Now, Emma, Sisia Yagi Sikana, good one, Kasia Pana, Yedekwakutia, a Kayafreno interest payment. Look, some people know and this know, Sadiano Koswa, or my webebo. And Nutinako here, sir, or mine, Gina Hona, a quite fast Pesican, Yirimu. Na expenditure and sooner a wohono, Yahana Yetiso. Now, Parliament won, for instance, executive, your new executive near a Sika say, and no calendars are Mekai, and your Parliament in Kwao. Umako executives, the various ministries near the Adiana. And you know, my said you more printed calendars at a check. Near printing near to chap my workers. Sir, MBA and also cultural send electricity to community. And because I become my activity of finance, you have to know him there, and yes, can you say yes? And so many Kaya near my be no my factor. If he said, Uncle him, and I will be contracting, I was a be our society and yeah. Now, no, Nipacrono, Unyane dear. You know when you see in Parliament, don't go to a fresh minister and you be to say. Now, then our minister will give me idea, or minister give me idea, Shaman Penny. More expenditures we are emphatic, and then a more ye. Then Kayan Yatiana say, Munyai, Sanya needs representatives of the people. Now, Yan Gasani Yebi, Yan Parliament Tankasa, Yebi, now we are then, now walk of Obia, on the executive now, yes, oversight, no. So one here when cleaning fear. We are then walk out on Tawanes. So, in Ra, the cancer, Ghana, you see a near bredia, Parliament, Yansono. I was saying, if you many animal and send it to your home calm, the bam way so into minim be minias or in Kai. Omoka, in actual fact, and yet so muka contempo. Sir and Ra, mini at the force and can send me. Or then I'm saying we are conference, the purpose at 300. Now, yeah, that's Adiano. If we in the public sector, Parliament crack on Obiapa to coin. Yeah, you see, I bet me a private holidays, and I'm a boy. You can call private holidays. The slightest opportunity in the public sector across ministries, departments, parliament included, travel pay because a holiday in my now, if for instance, the parliament in Nancy form say more cost on conferences and travels and those things, and it was so clear. I was here, parliament in Nancy form and come by a secret banner. Yes, you have more expenditure, more administrative costs. No, I was so do. And in that count, Ghana, I can't hear Bonquana cost.
Honorable, okay, maybe so. Some kakra to us and Claudia.
Miss Manusi, Uncle Heno. Not Parliament, no one can sound on the cranny to say. Parliament,
then maybe so assembly say we have parliament and no speaker at 13 executives, you know. Say what the budget to call na say executive near so on better so. Most of my children say more to me. And since the speaker can say, nay, baby, I would generate numbers of kabum na it you.
Such an speaker can mean agony. Sir, you're in parliament today. Yet, Banya see Pisicanoa. I was says the Penmodema in Isamadomonsaka because the separation of powers. Separation of powers, the Yanka Parliament, Yanka revenue. Yet the revenue collection of ma as be in constitutional arrangements. Sa as a fiscal analysis, apportioning of resources, who take into account, see the number for let's saying deficit sign in the medium term. What is the fiscal deficit? We are signing money now. We determine a few ways. And this is sky bidding a borrow to say. The Amru says so. They are. I was saying, can you teach them the crano be a yabi? The parliament, the area, so any of the so special, baby to be. And sometimes the judiciary almost casa. And I said this because as a former deputy minister of finance,
okay,
in Pennyphone, Edding Town, independent bodies ning na person mo kata de be se dia fama ye ko fete kan wa lefa
mama misa unua Suhuyini nso kakra na me tie no
unua me nimre ka me akalite tia na ato na me nua na ato aso
just a minute per mesa ba onche be osisi a honorable Suhuyini hello.
Yes, hello.
Yes, honorable Suhuyini, please, are you on the line?
Yes, I'm here.
Yes, what ye unua kwakukwatin? Look as if say mujina no muka asem kro in the interest of the country. Inti then what should be the solution?
Yeah, so the solution for me is first of all for us to, in the debate and in taking decisions relating to this budget, we put our partisanship aside and we lead by example. Because in this budget, provisions again for the use of the executive, for the use of the legislature. Even as we burden the common man on the street with more taxes. So we have to take decisions that will reflect that we understand and appreciate the problems. You recall, my brother, that in 2017, we on the minority side in the 7th Parliament raised this same issue, especially when it was revealed in the 2017 budget statement that the executive office of government machinery alone was allocated about, I think, 1.5 billion Ghana cedis at the time. And we made the point that it was too much because given the trajectory from 2012 to 2015, the office of government machinery, if you put those 4 years together, spent 1.3 billion. So we thought it was unconscionable for the office of government machinery to be allocated 1.5 billion in just a given year in 2017. It hasn't changed. In fact, it has increased, and in some cases have gone beyond 8 billion since this government came into power. And so I think that the way forward is for us to put our partisanship aside in discussing this budget and in taking a decision whether to approve some of the policy proposals or not. That will reflect that we understand.
Since he spoke English, it's important that I speak English so he can get me clearly. I don't disagree with what Honorable Suhuyini has said.
Okay.
But when we say partisanship, it must be born out of sincerity. when we say office of government machine, first we must decode it. What is office of government machine? Because if the idea is that charity should begin at home, it must begin from the presidency. I have no doubt about that. But when you put all the office of government machine made up of scholarship secretariat and also made up of free SHS monies all there, and you make this kind of comment, I get a sense that your real motive is to give the impression that somehow this particular and another government is doing what is wrong, and therefore, in fact, what they are saying is a vote against them. That is where the partisanship begins. But if we agree that, look, it's not about the office of government machine. We're saying that charity should begin at home because some of the agencies under the office of the government machine, they are under-resourced.
Well, thank you very much. That was Honorable Kokukwati and Honorable Suhuyini Alhassan, Member of Parliament, Tamale North. Yeko Akojin Krato Abba.